this has been a long time coming because for a few years now I've been meaning to do a review on Steven Seagal. Now, it isn't because I'm the biggest fan of the man or given how much heat he's received over the years for his alleged couch casting call moves behind the scenes, which are fairly icky. I don't agree with a lot of his views, including hanging out with Vladimir Putin or his terrible dancing. But what I'm here to talk about is his work strictly on film. And when I was a kid, growing up in the 90s, it was a great time growing up because I had endless amounts of action heroes and I was a total sucker for the action movie genre. I never got tired of it. Everywhere you looked in the video store, you'd spot your Chuck Norrises, your Dolph Lundgrens, Charles Bronson, Michael Dudikoff, and hell, even Billy Blanks made a few action flicks. I didn't see them, but there were a lot of action heroes from the late 80s into the mid 90s. And of course, we all know the top guys, your Arnie's, Sly Stallone, Van Damme, Jackie Chan. And then we have the curious case of Steven Seagal. Seagal was someone who had come out of nowhere in the late 80s with his first film, Above the Law, co-starring Jackie Brown herself, Pam Grier, and Sharon Stone.
Your mother was no Sharon Stone.
Under the direction of future Oscar winner Andrew Davis, Above the Law was a solid action film that launched Steven Seagal's career, and then it seemed like nothing could stop him as each one of his films all made at least $40 million at the box office. And yeah, $40 million today doesn't sound like much, but back then, it was a lot. Eventually, his career would fizzle out with box office duds, and again, I could be here talking about the man's whole oeuvre, but what I am here to talk about is the 1990 action classic, Marked for Death. A film that, while looks and sounds like a standard Seagal action affair, on the surface actually has some pretty well done voodoo horror aspects to it, and I think that is because the director, Dwight H. Little, and his experience in the horror genre had a lot to do with it. Because of his horror genre sensibilities, Dwight was able to add some, pardon the pun, dread to the picture and actually make the gang of Jamaican drug dealers into believable villains that could do damage to the usually impossible to kill Steven Seagal. Long story short, Seagal plays a now retired DEA agent who has come home to his hometown after his partner is killed in a bus gone wrong. Disillusioned by the drug war, Seagal comes back only to find the drug war is reaching his home as a Jamaican gang led by Screwface, yes, I did say his name right, you heard that right, is waging a war on another gang, and Seagal ends up in the middle of it, as he's wont to do. Eventually, his niece is shot by the gang, and that is indeed Jamie Lloyd from Halloween 4 and 5. Now that the war has hit too close to home and his niece is involved in it, Seagal, along with his friend Keith fucking David, go out to find justice in the streets. But let's be real here, there isn't a whole lot to this movie. It's not like Othello or Hamlet. But what I've always enjoyed about this is how well the hand-to-hand combat is handled, and the bad guy's Screwface is so much fun to watch. The actor is giving this performance that he's really into the character, and is certainly not someone that I would want to meet in a dark alley. As far as humor is concerned, this film has no shortage of unintentional humor, such as the gang being so blatantly obvious about what they're doing, wearing Letterman jackets, and giving crack pipes to kids right across from the field where the football team is having practice in front of everyone that goes to see it, parents, and all that. It's like, okay, really? These people are all over the place. And then you have the fact that all the bad guys constantly say blood clot over and over and over. You want to die of alcohol poisoning? Have a shot after every time someone says blood clot. I dare you.
And I dare you, I double dare you, motherfucker!
All in all, in the end, I think this is a really fun action flick that I think still holds up pretty well. And if you are a fan of old school action, you cannot go wrong with Marked for Death. Did I mention that it also has Keith fucking David in it? That man makes anything better in any film, regardless if it's Sci-Fi Channel or a top budgeted film. It is part of what I like to call the original Seagal quadrilogy. And I call it this because from 1988 to 1991, Seagal released Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and last but certainly not least, Out for Justice. They were all high earners at the box office, and they all made at least $40 million, well, except for Above the Law, but that was his start. And this is when his films are at their most brutal, bloodiest, and most violent, and did just what great action films should. Come in, kick ass, and take no prisoners. Marked for Death, go check it out. Hey, if you made it through to the end of the video here, you are a true soldier, and I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and if you have any comments, make sure to comment your comments in the comments. And remember, I'm going to have more coming out, so make sure that you do, and until next time, I'll catch you later.